Sean, what was that yell about back there?
What?
Keep your something.
He's like, keep your comments to yourself. He goes, not that bad, you guys.
So we're standing at the junction of 4 burn zones, and you're gonna get an idea. This was our first burn of the season was this one here. Our second burn of the season was that one there. Our third burn was this one behind you. And then we were supposed to burn that one next, although our window for being able to burn it is very quickly closing. When you guys came in on Highway 98, you can hear it. It runs up on our northern boundary up there. So lots of cars pass by. On the north side of that, there's a Walmart, there's a Publix, there's a hospital, there's a hotel, there's lots of stuff on the north side of this. So we are limited here at the park to only be able to burn with a north wind. We cannot dump smoke on 98. We can't dump smoke on the sick people at the hospital. We got to put it out over the Gulf, and we can put a little bit on the houses on either side if we get east or west. But everything's got to be some sort of north out of the north so we can burn. So that limits us here in the north part of the state to only burning in the wintertime when we get a front. So immediately before a front, the wind comes out of the south. After the front passes, the wind pushes hard out of the northwest. And so usually for 1 or 2 days after that. So like now, we're starting to get sea breeze wind pushing in off the Gulf in the afternoons, and that's a south wind, and we're not going to be able to burn. So I don't think we're going to be able to get to that section this year, but maybe we'll get some sort of freak weather here between now and May.
What will that, I'm sorry, what will that do? Like, will that
It won't be much. One year won't be much because we'll just burn it next year. It'll just be behind on the rotation for all these middle sections. When you're talking back there, she was talking about burning saw palmettos during the growing season. Since we can only do it with a north wind, we can only burn during the dormant season. So we can't burn during the growing season here. And that really kind of it changes the landscape of our woods a little bit. So we don't encourage grass growths by doing that. We get more. That's fine. They're carpenter bees. Ain't gonna sting you. We get more saw palmetto in our woods, so we get less of the stuff that we want because of the time of year that we have to do it. So we do it mechanically. I'll come out here in the tractor and mow. Or what we're trying to do is we're trying to see if we can break these zones into smaller zones. So like this one was, I think it was like 70 acres, 90 acres, something like that. Break them down into smaller pieces. So like burn a small little corner, like that wet prairie we visited yesterday. We broke that down and burned it really late in April, and it had a really positive effect on that area. And it didn't dump smoke anywhere because it was such a small little 1 acre piece.
Nice.
So if we're able to work that without too much impact on our zones, then we'll try to do that. And it'll look much prettier out here, much more grass.
Nice.
So, questions? How'd y'all sleep last night, all right?
How do you kind of stop
Good.
burn? Is it just you build a trench, or is it just like these walkways kind of
Everything that we're walking on is a fire break. So most of these are historical trails. They've been used for a long, long time. We didn't put them in, so we just enhance them. So before a burn, I come out on the tractor and I mow one width on each side. And then on areas that we don't have rock like this, because this is periodically wet, so over there where it's dirt, we want mineral soil. We don't want any pine needles or leaf litter or anything on the trail, because that'll carry the fire across. We come through, and I either come through with a big rake in the back of the tractor and rake them up, which works pretty good. Or if I'm able to, I come through with a disc harrow. It's got a series of discs that are angled, and it turns up the dirt and kicks it up and cuts it down to mineral soil. It cuts through whatever's on top and harrows the dirt up. So we want mineral soil. We have like a minimum width for the fire breaks, but we don't always meet that. And it's pretty easy for us since we know what our winds are going to be. We can only burn these with a north wind, so we're always going to start on this on the south side and work our way back. So this line doesn't have to be as wide as the lines down on the south end, because that fire is going to be carrying that way as we work our way back.
When they have a fire, you guys, they have to have certain conditions that are just right. They look at the amount of water, they look at the weather, they look at the wind, how much sun, everything has to be just right. There's an index. You guys still use the KBDI?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called the KBDI index. and there's certain numbers and values where they plug it in and it has to be just the perfect value for them to be able to burn. And if I remember correctly, every state park has a Viper team.
Not everyone.
Not everyone. Do you guys hire?
No, District 1, we're backwoods. We don't have
Okay.
anything.
Some of them have what we call a Viper team, which there are certain individuals that are specific to watching that fire. And they're just trained just for that, for burning certain areas. And that Ranger Jeff was saying, there's certain plots that they do at a certain time. And that Viper team is out there just to make sure that it doesn't become a wildfire and get out of control.
How long do the burns last for?
Oh, it'll go all day.
Or just a day?
Yeah. That's why we break, like here at Topstead, we have 33 management zones, we call them. So we use them for like exotic removal, for fire, for different things. So each one has a number, and they're all broken down into not very big pieces. We don't have very large chunks. I don't think there's anything over like 140 acres, I think. Maybe the biggest one is 33, which encompasses the entire dunes and beach, which we don't ever burn that. But
Close the park for the day.
no, we'll close off the nature trail. Like when we did these, we closed off the trails that way and the trails this way, so nobody can walk through here. But other than that, no, because we're dumping smoke straight out from here. Like you're saying, the biggest factor is the weather. So if they're forecasting like fog at night, sometimes we won't do it because the fog will drain down from here, or the smoke will drain down to the lowest area, which is over there by 98. And RH, relative humidity is a big one too.
Do you get a lot of calls like, oh my gosh, the woods are on fire?
Sometimes, but we work. A lot of times, like a lot of our zones are right up on 98. So we burn, and some of this gallberry and the saw palmetto, they have oils in them that make them really burn really hot and really intense, and they flare up really high. And some of the tie gets really high. And so when we're out there on 98, you got like this big wall of flames out there, and so people like slowing down and stopping traffic and calling the fire department and stuff. So sometimes we get the word out before we start, so that way if they call the dispatch, they'll be like, well, there's a burn over there.
Nice.
The neatest thing, one of the things I like most about it is after everything is done, the fire basically puts itself out if we do it right, because we don't want it to get real high. We want it nice and low and slow and moving through and backing into the wind. So everything's mostly out, but we come out and we do mop up. So we put out smoking stuff within 50 feet of the line. But you're out here after dark, and it's absolutely amazing because you just look through these zones and you'll see snags. The top of the snags will be glowing and throwing embers like fireworks.
Wow.
There'll be glowing stuff and fires like kind of all just throughout the woods. It's really pretty neat.
And then they do a little bit of a pyro.
I was always a pyro.
Perfect job.
And how do you start them? Do you just start them with gasoline or?
We use a 4-to-1 mix of diesel and gasoline.
Okay.
The diesel makes it stick, and the gasoline makes it burn a little bit better. Some people get a little crazy with a little more gasoline, and then you have your fire pot blow up in your hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's supposed to be 4-to-1, so the diesel sticks in the ground. So when it burns through a stem, there's a wick in the end, and you light that, and the fuel drips through the flames, lights, and then hits the ground, and then it sticks, and so it burns there for a little bit and gets whatever is going on in there hot. So
Start in the middle.
no, we start on the downwind side. So like north wind, we'll start on the very south side of this zone. Actually, we started along this line here for this zone.
Keeps it slow.
Yeah.
So for the fuel that you use, is that economically safe? Like
Environmentally?
Or
It burns up.
environmentally safe?
Yeah, it burns
doesn't
up.
soak into the ground or anything?
No,
So-
we don't notice any detrimental effects with it.
What do you do with summer lightning strikes and natural burns? Do you immediately put them out because the
Ye-
winds are not in the direction that
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
burn?
Yeah, we have to, because we have really expensive houses on our boundaries.
So you gotta put them out.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we have 98. I mean, if it's burning south, like the one that burned over here in 2009, forestry came in and as forestry does, they don't actually fight the fire. They put disc lines, really deep scars through the woods to contain it.
Do you have a lot of summer fires with lightning?
really.
No.
Not really.
Good.
No, because it's pretty wet,
Yeah.
so it's hard. It's really kind of hard for it to get going. Especially, I mean, out of all the areas
So it's
that
burning
we have, we
high,
don't
if
have 60
anything.
acres.
It might-
Well, I
if
mean,
you get-
it'll come down. I mean, we have had fires. I kind of know where we're going. We've had one.
natural lightning?
Lightning. It was in the summertime.
Is there
But it's really-
evidence
really
of it
good.
still? It was this summer? This past summer?
No. It was like
Oh, it was a
several
while
years
ago.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can't notice anything. So, ready?
Ready.